Alright guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Something Wicked This Way Comes. 1983 is Something Wicked This Way Comes. Lee, had you seen it before?
I had not.
I hadn't seen this one myself.
Oh, good. I was going to say, this is a classic, this is an old one or something.
Somebody in the comments before, because we watched a movie by the same author. This was the same dude that did, this is Branberry, our boy that did the Halloween tree. Someone wrote like, oh, you should check out this one. And I was like, all right, I will. Picked it up, and here we are.
Yeah, I think Bradbury's just wrote it here. He's not directing, right? It's somebody else.
No, he just wrote it. He tried to get this movie made originally, and it did not pan out. And he wrote it as a. Then I think it started out as like a script. Then it became a book.
Holy shit!
Then it became a movie.
Okay.
And it got talked to a couple of big names. Like Spielberg was one of the people that they wanted to do it originally, and he said no. It was a ton of big actors that were in place to be the dad, and it eventually filed down to this guy who I really like, and I've seen him in things before.
He's
Didn't
very
actually
familiar.
Look him up.
He's very familiar. He has he's in that 100-something credits club, but I don't. I was like, you must be blank from blank, and I didn't see something that leapt out at me as like, you're that guy.
Yeah, didn't actually look into any of the actors from this to see if they're in things before.
The biggest one for me is Jonathan Pryce, Mr. Dark. I remember him from a lot of stuff. We'll get into it later.
Sure.
I was like, that's the guy. And there's a few other names where I'm like, I've heard that name, but something. Diane Ladd, something Ladd.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are.
A lot of familiar titles and definitely famous people. This movie was kind of a dud in box office.
Okay.
It apparently had a lot of scenes that got tweaked and secondhand directed stuff. But I think it's a decent movie. It definitely captured my attention. Something about being on film always adds a little bit of cred.
No,
the set and the time period is fun. What is it, like the 30s or something?
Oh god, when is it? I don't know when it is, but it has those old effects that I like. I would say it's like a product of its time. It's pretty boring-ish for an hour, but then I thought it really picked up, and I really ended up liking it and the end and how stuff goes and stuff.
I think I actually like all the boring things in this more than I like the actual parts that are what this movie is, the
cool parts,
twisty horror or whatever things. Yes. But I think this is fun. This is another Disney horror movie.
Yeah, you don't expect Disney to go where some of this goes in certain places. There are some of the visual effects and even some of the themes that I think are a little heavy for the usual.
Yeah, if you're a big Disney head and you want to see everything, I think this is something you should definitely check out. I think if you like period pieces, this is fun. Again, it's a little slow, but I think it's a decent movie worth watching. Some good monologues, some interesting shit happening here. So check it out. If you've seen it or don't care, follow us over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
Alright guys, so here we are for the spoilers of Something Wicked This Way Comes. As stated, this is an older movie, 83, so it has a certain quality to it. This is a very picturesque fucking movie.
It's a movie-ass movie.
From that opening jump, you're like, I can't with 100% certainty tell you if I am looking at a matte painted background, and they're just on some back lot, or if they actually went to the country to film some of this stuff. I honestly could not tell you because of the quality of how film works and adding a certain amount of phase and grain, and just what it looks like. It looks like it's so beautiful and picturesque that I'm not certain.
Yeah. These are techniques lost to time that we no longer have access to as a human race or whatever.
It's very, very weird, and I like it. We have a narrator. It is not our boy.
I was literally gonna come in here see, because when he was younger he did sound better, and now he sounded like shit 10 years after this, but no, it was some other dude.
But he'd made a memory that would live as long as sons tell sons about fathers they love.
I did also check that,
I actually was like, this guy's worse. I like his other voice. I like his other voice. I like his actual voice. I don't know who this guy is. I'm sure he's very famous and awesome. He didn't do a terrible job.
Among the neighbors who gave me my first glimpses into the fearful needs of the human heart.
But I'm just no narrator.
I mistook him for a young version of Ray Bradbury. I was like, oh, see, before he started having old person mouth, where he sounds like...
Oh, I like that jowly talk.
Just things flapping and air going through his teeth and stuff, and I'm like, get out of here.
No, I need a good amount of Wilford Brimley whistle.
Something frickin'.
But I like the set, something about the town itself, and it's not like it's a totally original concept for a town and everyone stole from this thing, but it reminds me of the town from Monster Squad. And I meant to actually go back and look. I don't think it's remotely the same. I think it's a town with a circle. You could be like, it looks like the one from Back to the Future. And I'd be like, no, it doesn't. Like, they're all kind of similar, but something about it, like, in how those businesses look.
Christmas Carol, or even like the Muppet Christmas Carol. Like, it feels like everything. It feels like those streets in those old times, and it just feels
So I guess what I'm saying is it feels like a set.
It feels magically real. It feels
I enjoy
realer
it.
than real in like a weird way. Yes.
I like this time period. I think it's fun. There's like crazy things, and back when men were men and boys were boys.
I was gonna say, you want to go on some expedition and get boiled in a big pot somewhere.
Well, if I can.
Have a whole adventure. Yes.
Alan Quartermain shit.
Yeah, you're super
Not like you have a guy door to door selling like weather vanes.
Once the lightning rod on the pyramids of Egypt, trained for 3,000 years to pitch the lightning back to the high heavens, and it's yours for...
Or whatever, lightning rods, and the kid's like, oh yeah, give me one, I gotta protect my household. Then like putting it up, and I'm like, is that how you put it? Like, what? I wouldn't even know.
I literally was like, is he just banging it with a hammer? Does he even have nails? Would nails even work?
Like, what did the nails go through? It looked like it was a rod with a squared bottom, and I was even like, oh, is that socket into something in the house that I don't know about? Like, doesn't it have to then like go down to something else to dissipate the electricity, or is it just pumping it directly into the house, calling it?
Every chimney has a thing in it. No, like that's like the instigating thing is like in the narration. I think he's like, when an old like lightning rod salesman wandered into town. You're like it's a thing that happens. Yeah, it's great.
It was the October of my 12th year when the seller of lightning rods came along the road toward Greentown, Illinois.
So it's weird. So like we're in spoilers here, so I have no qualms about just asking this question that maybe I missed. Why was that lightning salesman guy like declared the Lord of the Parade? He's like in the...
Oh.
Nothing happened.
I'm gonna drop my phone so you feel better. Because I'm gonna.
He's like made into like the Lord of the Parade. He's like in that Cleopatra chair being carried in the back. I get everyone that they fucked with is in the parade, but he seemed special. They were inquisitive about his knowledge on storms.
I think that he's a thunder god. He says his name's Tom Fury, and while he's like ranting and raving strapped to the electric chair, he says, I didn't choose the name chose me!
When is the lightning due?
I am Tom Fury. Did I take the name? No, the name took me.
I must know.
And stuff, and I'm like, okay, you're like another otherkin. They are the hungry ones that feed upon torment, and he's Tom Fury, the like thunder god guy who comes in to banish them, and it's like a cycle or something. It's amazing. No, literally, I think something's up because he like eventually breaks out of the spell himself. Yeah. So he's special. Also, he's Thor. He has a lightning Zeus.
I was gonna say, he does stab somebody with a lightning rod that does like electrocute them, right?
He's got powers. He clearly does have powers, and that's such a great dumb. Like I thought that I was just a kid, and that's why movies hit me like this. But it turns out movies were just different back then.
Certainly,
and this is what
well,
this is an
because it
example.
sets things up that again, like you've said this in the past on reviews. Like we're like you had to think things out and make your own judgments because this guy detects and knows something is coming, and people need the defense of my, lightning rods here. Yes. Your house, I can hear it. It's going to be attacked. His house is the one that gets attacked.
Your house is in need of protection.
Which house?
Well, I was gonna say, like you think, obvious charlatan salesman, like ripping off a kid. But then, smash cut to at the end when he thunderbolts the like ancient Egyptian monstrous or whatever. From whatever, it's crazy. Okay.
But then, like during their like dream sequence spider attack, the lightning strikes his lightning rod and pulls them out of it. And you're like, okay, so did that save him? Because when it's set up originally, you're like, oh yes, they're going to need that. Like they're weak to iron, or something is happening, or the lightning will strike and will funnel to them. Something will happen. It doesn't, but you think that, and you're like, okay, that's, one of the shots that was definitely redone was that spider sequence. Okay. Because the kids are like older in that shot.
Oh God, I was gonna say that seems like a weird hatchet. Like, okay, the spider's a good example of something where I was like, okay, the movie's getting weird, but like we only have like half an hour to go. It's not gonna get weird enough for me. But then it did get weird enough for me. Weird. Yeah. So like,
there's a moment when they show a decapitated main character, and you're like, whoa, wait, what the hell movie am I watching? It's just for a few seconds. It's never referenced, and you're like, wait, Disney? They just decapitated that child. Okay.
But I didn't. Little liar. You stay right there and coming down. Come back here. Come back here this minute.
I don't remember this.
They're running for their lives, and like there's just in front of him as he is running his own decapitated body.
His own. Okay, like a fake head, not.
Well, no, it's always a movie, so yes, it's fake. Okay. It's not a documentary about.
I thought you meant like another child's head.
No, it's his.
Literally decapitated. Okay, but that's like a magic head, then, isn't like. His own head.
Presumably it's all magic.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Did you also want the father to get rewound a bit? It seemed like they were playing that up the whole time about like, oh, I'm old. If only I was younger, I could do these things with my son. My son deserves better. I need all this jazz. Okay. And then like they find a thing that rewinds time and makes the ginger kid or ginger guy into the creepiest ginger kid ever made.
I'd like you to meet my young nephew, Robert.
Mr. Cougar. Let's just talk about that and then circle back to the dad. The whole kid Mr. Cougar when he throws the rock and hits the window instead at the last minute. That kid was super creepy, and they picked an awesome kid to be the young version of that dude, I thought.
The sign says out of order, boys.
The guy and the kid, perfect casting. They're both creepy, weird old people and young people that are...
The whole ginger attitude makes it extra creepy.
There's something very strange about it, though, where like she was expecting her nephew, and that guy showed up. Yeah, she said, I have to rush home, my nephew's coming.
I must get home. My little nephew is arriving.
Is she ill?
Oh God! I thought that was all like weird brainwashing or something.
No, that was set up when they were in the school. So like her nephew was coming, and then that kid showed up. So I'm like, is Kruger her nephew all along? Had they been running the con for quite some time?
There's a lot of weird stuff like that where something seemed random and like weird to me, and then later I'm like, oh no, that was a part of something else. Like
I still don't know what that one was though with the kid because
no, I just mean like I missed the whole setup of like the nephew whatever coming. But there's a bunch of stuff like that where the beginning boring part of the movie is actually setting everything up in these sometimes crazy ways.
I really like the guy who was like missing his arm and his leg, presumably like lost to the war.
I remember Ed the barman, yesterday's football hero, still haunted by 40-yard runs down the dark fields of his dreams.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't really go into it at all. Right. But he's just like a real fun character and doing things. And like he's definitely, especially for like the early '80s, you didn't have a ton of people like showing how capable somebody who has some issues is.
God, now don't be messing up my work. All right, come on, I'll race you. What is?
Hellfire storms are coming. An electric storm to clean your street.
And like this dude like lifts the mallet on one leg with one arm,
hopping
balancing
around.
himself. Hits that fucking thing, wins the prize, which ultimately corrupts his life, but still pretty cool. And that is not a trick. That dude is missing an arm and a leg.
Right? Yeah,
because when they cut to the mirror stuff, they don't ever show his head. Okay, that's another guy's body.
I wish I was out there to run, to throw, tackle, touchdowns. I mean, there's nothing like to smell that grass, to run on the...
I wasn't quite sure, but I'm like, I don't think he could be hiding his arm anywhere. I think that's really him.
I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure it was just based on how they were filming things. Well, it's like, oh, when he's leaning on the counter, is his arm...
Doc, Charlie, do you have any idea what Northwest is going to do this week?
You remember your heart.
Arm through a hole in the counter. When he catches it, is it how you couldn't bend your arm in a way. To catch
Yeah,
that.
it's
No,
crazy.
he's definitely
He
missing
must
an
be.
arm and a leg.
And then when he's rewound to be a kid that has limbs again,
Yeah.
and the dad throws the football to him. He still catches it mostly one-handed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's this crazy attention to detail little thing like
No,
that.
I like that.
Because like early on, you're like, I'm watching a movie, I guess. Oh, he's throwing the football. The guy was, pining away for his football days because he can't do it anymore.
To run, throw, tackle, touchdowns. I mean, there's nothing like it to smell that grass, to run on the...
Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, all of these things are important for later. It's like super interesting and good.
The one dude is like a big ladies hound
Yeah.
becomes a lady.
Okay, so while we're dancing around here, everyone wants something. Everyone has regrets. Everyone lives a tormented life because they are a human being, right? And this carnival comes to town and promises everyone some sort of...
and it does give them the things it promises, but then
also,
you pay the price for it.
Yes.
I will give you your looks back, but now you'll never be able to appreciate it because you're blind. Oh, I'll give you the ladies, and then you'll become a lady.
You have lived here a long time without the scent of lady's skin. They're waiting for you, my good sir.
I'll give you your limbs, but you'll be a child?
He seemed like the Sultan or something. He seemed like a weird, and like they're all like frozen there. Like the one guy like finally won a jackpot and he was so happy.
Yeah.
And got to run this, and then he's just his like, what do they call that? The cigar store Indian or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, but they're all frozen there somehow.
Where does the thunder go when it dies?
Mr. Crosetti.
What tongue does the wind
Mr.
talk?
Tetley.
What country does the rain come from?
By
Even
magic?
people that were there on their own volition, like
Yeah.
his group of little people, one of them is frozen by the door. And
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute, why is he there?
Right.
What, did he wish to be tall and you shrunk him or something? Like,
Yeah, they're all like collected and put into the thing somehow, or they, and then like your brain, my kid brain would be like, oh, is everyone in the carnival someone who was someone from something else? I actually thought that's where this was going. The main kid's best friend is named like Jimmy Nightshade or some shit like that. And I'm like, Mr. Dark, Jimmy Nightshade, and Mr. Dark says a proper name like Nightshade. And I'm like, okay.
Jim Nightshade. What a proper name for a carnival.
Your long lost dad that went on adventures was one of these people, and like last time he stayed behind and eventually shacked up with your mom, but he had to go, and now the carnival's back in time to get you because you're like a half whatever.
that would be
or
better than
something
what
like
happened.
that. Well, yeah, no, that turns out to be literally nothing that has anything to do with anything.
No, but he does plan to
But,
make him, he's like, we could add your name to it. Nightshade and Dark, Dark and Nightshade,
Yes.
whatever.
Dark and Nightshade's Pandemonium Carnival. That's your name, Jim.
He he's not implying that he is his father, but he says but he says my son at like one point to try to like woo him over.
My son.
Jim.
My partner. Forever.
The dad. Getting back finally to the
Getting
dad.
back to the dad. Who I like a lot. I
Good
felt
actor.
for him.
Yes, exactly. He's got a wicked case of what I like to call old dad.
Just tell me I'll live forever. Then I'll be happy.
Dad, don't talk death.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how old he was when the kid was born.
Well, the
but he is
counting stopped in
extremely old.
its 50s, which I always think it's fun,
Implies
like
older
back
than
from
that.
all the Twilight Zones that we have watched.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, that old guy, 38.
Yes.
So I'm like, maybe he is only 50. People died very young or
Well-
looked very old from all the working they did.
Yeah, like back in the day, even in Twilight Zone times 60, I feel like even almost to the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
like Red from that 70s show, in a period piece, Red from that 70s show would be 37. It would be you're just this grown ass man who wears a suit every day and has a pocket watch, but you're in like your late 30s. Or something.
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
Mr. Banker, remember.
One ticket to Bermuda.
Yeah, so I don't know how old he was when he had this kid. It seems like the wife's kind of old too, but he's definitely old.
He's older than her, yeah.
Yeah. When you have old dad, you can't play catch, you can't do everything, can't keep up with the kid. You have a little complex there. But this culminated in this event for him where, he like doesn't save his kid from drowning.
Yeah.
And that plagues
but that
the
wasn't
relationship
because he was
forever.
old. That's because he never learned how to swim.
Yes, exactly.
It was weird to add those two things in.
Well, and the
You're
kid-
also old, and you can learn how to swim.
And I stood there and watched, tied to the riverbank and helpless.
And the kid barely seems to remember it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know why this made the kid hate the dad the whole time.
You
and why it's a
thought
dark
they were going to
secret.
play up the thing because
Yeah.
they go the whole time saying, "Oh, your heart, don't do that. You got a bad heart." Blah blah.
Yes.
That they were camping and he had a heart attack was what I thought it was going to be because that makes a lot of sense and that's what it should have been. And then him not wanting to talk about the inevitability of the death of his father because that's such a soft spot for him, and him still trying to act like he's young and not. Oh, he's not too old. He's blah 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 this and that.
arguing
Would have
with his
made a lot of
friends.
sense
Right.
why he was. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to this and that because we don't want to go over your mortality here. Of that time when we went trying to do the thing physically and you had a heart attack.
Yeah, like the kid should be scared about his father's mortality.
Yeah.
There's this big mess there. But I think like the theme that they're getting at, and to finally return to why he doesn't rewind, is that he's getting over his like torment with being old.
Yeah,
so he
doesn't
has
have
to
the
stay
fear of
old.
dying anymore because
Yes.
he has to live.
Because he's tasted death.
Yeah.
Now he knows that it's okay.
Which may have taken years off his life. Who's to say?
Jim Nightshade 2. Drown, Halloway. Drown in your...
Just a little taste.
The monologue that Dark gives while he's
Yes.
saying like, I could offer you, because he offers to rewind the time.
Okay.
He's like, if you take this deal right now, I'll bring you 35, 36. 30, and just like there's all this
I
great
think
jazz.
So this is, and I look, Jonathan Pryce. Now we can talk about Jonathan Pryce. I knew him from what I thought were Rolex commercials.
Okay.
But Nelson Mandela reached back into history and changed it to be Lexus commercials.
So they patented new methods of construction to reduce body flakes.
Okay.
It's the Infinity, the car commercials.
All right.
For some reason, they always like stood out to me. I was super young, but they were on TV, I guess, a lot during shows I watched, like adult shows or something. We'll play a little bit now.
So seams and joints stay tight.
But like I've always known him, and then like the High Sparrow from Game of Thrones. He's Mr. Jumping Jack Flash. Like he's an actor. He's been in like a ton of different stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always been vaguely aware of him, and like I think I like him. Now I realize he's an actor. He's like a stage actor.
Yeah.
He's like a real actor.
That I think called out just when he talks.
No,
like,
but
oh, you're a thespian.
Then rang the bells both loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep.
The wrong.
He's acting in this, and that monologue, you're absolutely right. This is where the titular "something wicked this way comes" come in.
Yes.
That's literally Shakespeare.
Yeah, was that
And
Macbeth?
It's Macbeth. I looked it up. It's some whatever. But and they go back and forth trading literature lines.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's all from Macbeth or what they're doing, but this is like a showdown. This is awesome.
It's pretty good.
This scene broke me out of my trance of like I'm watching an old movie. It's kind of all right at times, I guess. I'm enjoying it, but it's not good. It's not bad. Whatever. This like snapped me out of it. Where I'm like, holy shit! When he's tearing the pages of that book out and they glow a little.
Going strong. 33, 34, 35, 35.
Yes.
Like that old effect where they would draw or make glowies on the thing.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to like turn to like burning as they drop.
They're like,
but that's like his
snuffing
dad's
out
like
and stuff.
diary that guy's
Yes.
ripping. I'm like, dude, you're ripping my dad's diary here, bruh.
Exactly. Yeah.
You ripped like what 20-something pages maybe?
20-something pages, but it keeps going faster and faster, and pausing to like describe. Oh, 39. You could still do this. You could still do that. Oh, maybe this, whatever. It's gone, and keeps tearing them and throwing them away. And it's like, oh my god,
it's
this
very
is amazing.
effective. It's a really well done shot.
And you can like see it wounding the father, kind of. I don't know if literally or just like emotionally.
34, 35, 36, 47, 48, 49, 50, 52.
Oh, I think
he's just like,
it's emotionally because
yeah.
I don't know if Dark even knows at this moment that's his son because he's saying like things
interesting.
you could do with these things. I'm like, some of those things involve his son, who you're going to take and potentially kill.
He says you could learn to swim though. I wonder. If,
Yes.
I wonder what he or how he knows or whatever. But no, the whole thing begins with this like, yes, we are the hungry ones. We feast upon your torment. We butter our plain bread with your fears.
I love
all these
that
like
line.
fucking things. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is amazing.
No,
that scene.
You stuff yourselves on other people's nightmares.
And butter our plain bread with delicious pain.
But yes, it's not the whole movie. It's a
No.
few select scenes, concepts, the vision, the aura of what you get from this, that, and another thing, and then there's like just like really kind of meh, like middles.
Sure.
And I think it kind of ends abruptly, where you're like, oh, all right, I guess we're finished.
The ending is a little weird. At first, I wasn't sure what was going on. I expected, because horses on the merry-go-round start becoming real.
Yes, and they're like bucking and
stampeding
trampling
around.
that guy,
Well,
and the effects on his face and things are happening.
So that guy's rapidly aging because he's on a merry-go-round, and he turns into the crypt keeper.
Yeah, because he can't get off.
Well, and I love this because he's stuck on there. He rapidly ages. It's like skeletal, and he's falling apart. The effect looked really cool, puppetry,
like a ghoul.
And then one of the dwarves carries it off. Where I'm like, oh, like he's just middle management, this guy. He's not even like the whole thing. The hungry ones are still out there, and maybe they have some way of like reviving him. Maybe there's just gonna be like a new guy running the carnival in the future. I don't know what's going on, but it like implied for some reason that someone's like, I better take this trash with me. Like someone grabbing it clicked for me, like, oh, there's so much more to it. I expected the horse above him to turn real and to like stomp him, and then for him to like die that way. And it kept showing it and showing the fake horse and showing the real horses and showing his like decaying face, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I became more and more confused, and he just becomes older and like electrical, and I'm like, what's happening? But
the whole premise of the traveling back to youth through the merry-go-round was weird, because when you see the ginger guy do it, and like it pauses in the middle, and you can see him as like, oh, now he's a fit young age that can do things. And when it kept going, I was like, wait a minute, what is their plan here? Because you assume like, oh, the people that work for me are here forever, and when we take someone's soul, we can do this. And it's like, because they had killed like 5 people up to that, so I'm like, oh, they have years to spend here. They can bring him back down right now. But that's not what it is, and I'm not 100% sure what they were gathering these souls for, aside from just being hungry or whatever the thing was, because you don't really see it go anywhere. You do see the witch lady like getting older and weird looking. Like, I'm like, okay, so she's able to control some stuff. Even her thing though is weird, because like you see her in the window and she's like frozen in a block of ice or something.
That's a weird problem.
And her ring is like glowing. Then the next time you see her, she's wearing that ring.
Only I think there is something missing from your life. Something that could make you so happy.
But then you see her ring on the ground.
In the ice or whatever.
Like, what the fuck?
The shattered stuff.
Yeah.
That's also on the train coming in on the carnival.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people are seeing it where I think there is a real coffin.
Yes,
that's a coffin salesman. Store or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, what's happening exactly here? I'm confused.
Yeah, foreshadowing what's to come.
That happens so early that it's very confusing to me. It feels weird to be in there like that.
There's a lot of little bits like that, and I wonder how much that was added after the fact with second unit director, because I know Bradbury and the actual director did not like a lot of the things they added. There were some things that got taken out. I think originally the spider scene was like a large hand was supposed to come through the window and grab them, but they said it looked too puppety and like stupid or something, so they didn't do it.
Okay.
And they went ahead and filmed that. Originally the train was supposed to, through the fog of the train and trees twisting, it was going to transform into the carnival fully erect there, and it was going to be something you saw happen, not just a blink to being up.
Like a pop-up book, like coming up
something.
Or whatever? Oh, that sounds cool.
But again, that got pulled. They said it wasn't up to snuff, and they didn't do it.
Okay, so you've done some research here. It sounds like
a little bit of reading.
They had something going, and then those people were sidelined, so someone else could come in and like fix it.
Well, the
or
movie
something?
finished, and over the course of like millions of dollars, and I think a year, they added this stuff on. That's why the kids look older in that spider scene.
Okay, there you go. No, it has a feeling sometimes about some hatchet job type stuff, but yeah.
And because the movie already is kind of weird, I wonder if they dropped things and added things, and that's what makes it feel even fucking weirder. Because there's elements where you're like, why didn't that get paid off? Or where's that? I need more explanation here.
There's at least one that I think is just a mistake, where Mr. Dark says, a taste of death so that you'll know it when it comes, and then he tells his like witch, give him a taste of death so they knows that it's he says like the exact same line where I'm like,
and give him a brief taste of death, so that he may recognize it when it comes again.
I thought you were already because the dad goes, like in pain, like he's getting it the first time, and then he gets it again. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
The lottery guy had me wondering things, because this is in, I think it's 32, I think that's stated.
Like what is
but
$1,000?
let's say it's plus or minus 10 years, whatever. $1,000, what must you buy in for to play the game? Because it's at just a carnival game that must be happening constantly. You can't just be giving away $1,000, even if it's like the 1 in a million like crapshoot thing. There has to be an incredible buy-in for that type of a stake.
I know what you're thinking, but I don't think it's a real carnival. I think it's
it's not a real carnival.
I think it's a death trap for
He
people.
alludes that he's playing the lottery. He's like, you ever play the numbers, this and that? And I'm like, and he mentions $1,000 then.
7, 8, 9, 10, $1,000. And may I offer you a cigar, sir?
Oh, thank you.
I thought he said 100,000.
Maybe he said 100,000.
Did he say 1,000?
Either way, he said a large sum of money. I don't know enough about the lottery when it started, but I wonder in times like this, like how was it actually done? How did they?
This is that old time where people don't say, I'll call you. They say, I'll phone you. Like they have different ways of speaking. So I'm not even sure if that's the lottery or if it's just something else.
I don't know. It's like a local thing. Like we tie numbers to rats and one of them runs across the finish line and they're 7!
It's
7!
The time-honored tradition.
Yeah.
I play the numbers, the rat numbers.
Dealer has rug. Pay paper.
So 2 more like effects that I wanted to shout out is like he has like tattoos on his hands that like move, like it like shows the pictures of the boys.
So
it
weird.
like mesmerizes the kids at one point.
Yes.
Interesting, weird stuff. And that like old lady who's like in charge of the whole thing, like her dress like goes from like grass to like bursting down to the thing. It's like a weird effect.
His like Hagar the Witch or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, she goes through some changes.
I always took it as like she was in charge, like she seems to be the powerhouse of the group.
Yes, the term for this is the dragon, I think. Where you have like the big bad, then they have a seemingly more powerful, creature thing person who should be running stuff, but is for some reason just listening to that person. Yeah.
They've seen too much. Hunt them down. And bring them back to me.
Oh, so the end of this movie, I want to talk briefly about the themes or whatever, because I thought it was really cool actually, how like the son, so like even though I don't think that they set it up enough, why the son would like hate the dad, or maybe it's just that the dad thinks the son hates him, but he
I think
doesn't.
it's that he thinks it, that it doesn't really happen. Everyone's paranoid, they're not doing a good enough job, but he seems like he genuinely loves his dad.
Everything seemed okay, but I like how there's this quid pro quo or something, right, where like the son helps the dad. He's like, no, I love you, snap out of it, wake up, Hercules. They like do that, and then like the dad, there's a line like drowned in your sorrow, because he's watching his son drown again, but he's trapped in that moment.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but he smashes through the mirror. In the hall of mirrors, and then his son's arm is right there, and he picks him up like he's saving him, like like he's going back
getting
and
his redemption moment.
And then you're like, oh, that guy's the main character, I guess. But like 5 minutes later, the kid's, oh, my friend's dead, I'm crying. And the dad's like, no tears, get up, scream, yell, that's what they want. Don't do that. And then like the dad saves the kids.
Don't die!
Stop that, do you hear? Stop it! That's what they like. God!
And I'm like, this is so cool. And he doesn't save the kids by like punching Mr. Dark or doing some dumb shit. It's by that same turnaround of like
we are
like they feed on that torment that is natural to human existence, which everyone has to some degree, and we are learning how to get over it here in front of your eyes. It's like a good message. It's like a cool thing to put in a movie.
I'm not like surprised it wasn't more of a success, because like
you never get to the end. Why would you wait for that long?
Well. Anyone who had seen it too, though, in the early 80s, you had other big hits that, even Disney had that would take it out of the thing. And I think this was postponed because it would have been earlier, but they had all these reshoots and bullshit. So it's even toward the end of its own cusp of relevance.
Yeah, I'm shocked that it ended up being, because I've never seen it. I've heard the phrase "something wicked this way comes."
Well, yeah, but I don't think that's from this. That's from Macbeth.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, people just use that phrase.
It got more popularized, I think, in Harry Potter commercials.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bastards. We got subverted. No, know, I didn't know this was a thing, and like you now, I'm kind of shocked that it's not a thing, because I've seen much worse things that everybody pretends are good, so I don't know why this is like forgotten.
Yeah, it had fun elements. I like that the two kids had their fucking houses right next to each other, and a tree branch, and they have a little rope, and they go through and shit. That's a fun movie. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.